Welcome to another episode of Founders Club. Today we're going to be talking to Kevin Choe, a creative real estate investor doing 60 to 100 deals a year at the age of 22. We're going to be talking about how you can do your first subject to deal, exactly who to call, how to find leads, what to say, how to put deals together, and everything in between so that you can buy real estate with zero money out of your own pocket. If you have any questions, put them in the box down below. As always, make sure you join our Facebook group to get on the free weekly coaching calls every week with our team. And as always, if you like money and you like real estate, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the inside. Welcome to Founders Club, the show for real estate entrepreneurs. So sitting here with Kevin, really excited that you made the time to come out all the way from Arizona.
Yeah.
Have a great conversation about subject to investing. You've done over 60 deals, or you will do over 60 deals this year, which is really impressive for someone.
Done 62 so far. My goal is to hit 100.
100 for the year at 22 years of age. So
Yeah.
very impressive. I think the sub 2 niche is going to be a really just exciting niche for this next coming foreseeable future.
Right.
And I think the way that you've positioned yourself is fantastic, aligning with pace and just kind of like putting yourself out there on YouTube. Now you're making cold calls on live and all that kind of stuff. And we'll kind of jump into all that. But I want to kind of just, in this episode, really break down how people can start getting into sub 2 deals, how to find them, what to say, all those different types of things. But maybe before we do that, kind of in 30 seconds or less, what is sub 2?
So sub 2 is short for subject to, and it refers to a type of transaction where, as a buyer, you go in and take over the existing seller's mortgage. So, for example, let's just say you have Jane Smith as a seller and you have Kevin Choe as a buyer. Kevin Choe as a buyer will go in and take over Jane Smith's existing mortgage financing. But so I will be able to take over that existing mortgage payment, and then but in return, I also get the deed of the house. So I become the homeowner, I become the owner of the house, but then the actual mortgage stays in the previous seller's name.
Love that. Great answer. So basically, you're taking over the payments of a property,
Right.
buying it instead of, buying it traditionally with either financing or all cash. You're leveraging the existing debt. And the reason that's so exciting right now is because the way they've pushed up interest rates so high, if you can get, maybe a deal that's a few years old, now you're getting really exciting debt for the next however, period of time.
Right.
How'd you get into that? How'd you find your way into subject to investing? Because it's kind of a creative part of the real estate industry.
Yeah. So what I did was I was already in real estate at that time, and I was in a different mentorship, different coaching program where after 6 months, if I didn't pay like $500 a monthly fee, I was supposed to be kicked out. And I was 19 at that time. This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't have $500 a month just to shell out for a monthly subscription. So I ended up getting removed from that mentorship, and then I found Pace Morby, one of probably my best friend, my coach, my mentor, and he has a community of people / mentorships where you once you pay once and you're in it for the lifetime. So I literally just opened up some credit cards, and I'm like, this is my last initial investment in my real estate career.
Wow.
And then I paid once, and I haven't I didn't need to go find another mentorship.
Wow.
So I've been there for 3 years now.
So that's exciting. So you went down the guru rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Got into a situation that wasn't that great, it sounds like. And
Yeah.
you didn't want to pay for it anymore. Found Pace, sub 2 community. So shout out Pace. I think they're running a great organization, building a really awesome community.
Right.
I've also done a couple other interviews with the sub 2 community, so if you guys check that out. But so you found Pace, and then what happened? How did you go about like acquiring your first deal? Because a lot of people have that mental block getting the first deal, and that's what we're going to really break down today.
Yeah. So one of my very first deals in real estate, or at least sub two deals, because that's what we're going to talk about today, is actually it was a for sale by owner that somebody in Arizona brought to me. So I do majority of my deals in Arizona and Texas. So I know a lot of other people that operate the same way, operate in the same market. And this girl named Diana Hernandez, she comes to me and says, "Hey Kevin, I have this homeowner. I was just calling for sale by owners just for the practice of it, and I have this homeowner. I think this sub 2 might be the only way for her to sell the house." And I was like, "What? Well, you really? Like that's the only way you can't? She can't take cash offer?" She goes, "No, like they just bought it. Can you hop on a phone call with them?" So we schedule a phone call, and we're just talking, and then I ask, "Okay, so what's the situation here? Like you say you're open, only way for you to sell this house is if I come in and take over the mortgage payment." And let's just say that it was a husband and a wife divorce situation. Let's just say John and Mary. John goes, "Yeah, I just bought this house in Yuma, Arizona. I bought it with no money down. I used my VA loan to go buy it 3 months ago, and now 3 months fast forward 3 months, she goes, hey, we're going through a divorce, but it was at a weird timing in the market where rates were going up and like price drops, the value of the house was coming down. So they had the house listed for like 320, I believe, and then they owe like 310. And I'm like, so you're trying to sell for 320 and you owe 310 on it? And he goes, yeah, like that's the only way for me to sell it because I don't. The reason why I have it on the market as for sale by owners is because I can't afford a listing agent.
The commissions.
I said, okay, so even if you got a full price offer right now, if I give you 320 full price, like you're gonna lose money on it. She goes, yeah.
Yeah, she'd have to come to closing with money.
Yeah, at least a couple grand.
Okay.
And I said, okay, interesting. So I said, how about this? I'll give you $5,000. So John, you take 2,500, and Mary, you take 2,500. I'll give you guys $5,000. I'll come in and take over your existing mortgage payment, and you guys will just be out of this house. He's like, this is great. Yes, let's sign. Where do I even sign? So we go under contract. I took over a 3.2% interest rate at $1,400 a month, roughly. I still to this day I have that house. I have it for $1,850 a month.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, what was the situation here? How can I? So the situation was that the homeowner was low in equity, but what made them go to that spot was because they bought the house with little to no money and they're selling it right away. So that was. I'm like, okay, I need to go find more Johns and more Marys.
Right.
Yeah. So what I did was, this was sometime around this time last year, I went on PropStream. So for those of you guys who don't know what PropStream is it's like a software that real estate investors use to go find homeowners that are in foreclosures, maybe they're behind on taxes, HOA, code violation, things like that, and it gives you all the homes that are with that fit that filter. So one of the filters that I put in was, well, I backtracked. I said, okay, so if John and Mary was in a situation where they have a single family house, they owned it for less than 3 months. So I went back 12 months. When they bought it with VA loan or FHA loan, and they're back on the market within the 12-month mark. And in Maricopa County, which is where I do all my deals, I found 52 houses. So I go through one of them, like, oh yeah, I offer them, hey, can I come in and take over the mortgage payment? Like, no, I don't think the homeowner's not interested. Perfectly fine. I hang up. I pick up the second phone call, and his name is Robbie. And this house is in Southern Avenue in Mesa. And he goes, that's a great idea. Like the homeowner just moved from Washington, and as soon as they got here in 2 weeks, they moved back to Washington. So they lived in the house for maybe a couple weeks, and the house has been vacant, and I don't know what to do. Like we get offers, but our offers that we're getting is lower than way lower than what they owe on the house. So we're turning down all the offers, not because we want to, but because we can't take on those offers. The client doesn't really have that much money to just fork out. So I said, Robbie, how about this? Your client, how about this? Instead of your client coming out of pocket, I will give your client $5,000 in their pocket. So I give the client $5,000. I think it was $5,000. No, sorry, it was $7,500. Give them $7,500. That was $5,000 was initial, but they counted at 75. I'm like, what? So I give the client $7,500, and I pay the full listing agent commission, and I take over that existing mortgage payment. That was like a 3.3% interest rate, and that was the second house on the list. It was a 52 address house, 52 houses on that list, and with a second phone call, I got a second deal of it, and then when I went through that first When I went through that all 52, I got like 4 deals out of it in just one phone call. And I'm like, sub 2 is so easy. Like,
wow.
I literally just go up to homeowners I have that are basically upside down or they owe too much on the house. I say, can I just come in and take over your mortgage payment? And I'll give, actually, matter of fact, I'll give you more money than anybody else will. And the listing agent, I said, I will also give you your full commission. So we'll cut it there. No, I'll waive my inspection, I'll waive my appraisal, and I'll just take over your existing mortgage. Your full commission is covered. And I went through the first time I went through 52 house list at once. I got a deal on the second house, and I got 4 more deals out of it. So I got 5 deals within that first time going through it. Second time I went through it, I got 3 more houses under contract.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, this is the easiest deal. This is literally low hanging fruit.
That's amazing.
Nobody else could have solved that kind of problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. First of all, it's interesting how you reverse engineered. Okay, this is the first deal you did. You're like, the light bulb went off. Like, man, if I could just find more of these.
Right.
Then you reverse engineered how to do it. You found the list of 54, and you were able to get 8 deals out of those 54. Like, that's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. So I went through the first time, I got 5 deals. Second time, 3 deals, and then I went through it a couple more times until I think third time I got like 1 more deal out of it. But like, I was like, I'm gonna take this exact same concept. I'm gonna multiply into multiple markets.
Yeah.
So that was like a magic list for me.
All right, so this is exciting. Let's talk about it. So first of all, can you do this anywhere?
Yes, I've done subject to deals in Arizona, Texas, Florida, Nevada, Louisiana, Atlanta, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana. I don't know if I said Louisiana. And I've also done in Boise.
Wow.
Idaho.
Okay. So there's nowhere that's like a no-go zone.
No.
In terms of like where this is possible.
You could do it in every single state.
Okay. So now let's talk about. I really want to dive in on how to get the deals, right? I think we've done a couple, like I said, subject to episodes in the past. They were really well received, and we went through like the kind of how to do it, the more nuts and bolts side. And so now I really want to break down with you is the how to actually get the deals, because I think that really comes up a lot.
Right.
I'm sure you hear that a lot as well. Right. But like PropStream, you said. So what is the number one way that you're getting deals right now? Is it just going on PropStream and finding no equity deals?
That's literally all I do.
That's literally all you do.
I don't do it anymore myself. I have a team that does it for me, but that's literally what my team does.
So for someone that wanted to start this tomorrow, break that down for them. PropStream is a real estate data tool.
Right. Let's
talk about that a little bit, and then what you do and how you get the information from there, who you're calling, all that.
So yeah, so PropStream, you can add so many different filters. There's like 70 different types of filters that you can put into PropStream, and what it does is, like let's just say you want to if you're a listing agent, or if you're an agent in general, you want to find all the houses that's expired. Like, I know you can do it on the MLS, but you can also do that on PropStream. So just the way you would put it on the way you play around the filters on the MLS is exactly the same way as you do it on PropStream, but you just have different types of filters. So a couple of things that I look for if I was a listing agent, or if I was an agent and I wanted to go get sub 2 deals like in the next week or two, I would literally just go to all the expired listings, all the houses that expired, all the houses that expired and that had no equity. So like, let's just say the house was listed for $340, and you find out that the house, the homeowner on that house owed $320 on the mortgage. And if that went expired in the last 6 days, I'll go directly to the homeowner and say, hey, I know you tried listing this house with so and so. I know you weren't able to sell the house. I'm not here to list your house or whatever. I wanted to see, do you think I could just come in and take over the mortgage payment? And that's as simple as that. That's seriously what I would do. And I can guarantee you, if I were to run a challenge with somebody, and I can get a deal in the next 3 days. That's how confident I feel about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So let's break it down. So you go on PropStream, you're using the filters to find the no equity deals, and then you're crossing that with expired listings or stacking that data.
Yeah.
And this is actually a great way to do more deals as a realtor because now you're able to approach these people. You can partner with someone like Kevin who will buy the deal. And then basically you just find that you approach the homeowner and you say, hey, I can put a deal together with you on this deal that expired.
Right.
If you're interested.
100, yeah. So you can go two different routes. Even if you're an agent and you just want to get some leads for your agent side of things, you can just call expired. But if they're like, I don't want to list, I want to work directly with the buyer, it's perfect. I'll buy the house from you. Yeah, exactly. Tell me what you want. Tell me how much you want. Yep. So just give me 10 grand. If I can sell them and I can make 10 grand, you can buy from me. Perfect. Let me give you 10 grand. But the thing is, I'm gonna keep the mortgage in your name.
Take over the mortgage payment.
Yeah, take over the mortgage payment. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's exciting. What percentage of the people are immediately just gonna say no to that?
I'll say 90 to 95%.
So 90 to 95% say no immediately, and then how does the conversation progress from there? Like,
so most people will turn it down usually right off the bat, not because they don't want to, but they're not well educated. So the default answer to them is just, no, I'm not interested. Yeah. Okay, you're not interested because you don't know what it is, or you're genuinely not interested. And you'll find more often than not that the homeowners are not interested because they're not educated on how this process works. So I'll say 90 to 95% of them will say no right off the bat. But then once you add a little bit more touch and you say, hey, I just bought so-and-so's house, took over their mortgage payment, we went through title and escrow company, we got title policy, lender's policy, everything. We're just wanted to check in with you. I was wondering if you want to buy it. And then the more touches you do, your conversion would start to go up. And I'll say at least, if you can get to 20% of the people will come back to you over time, and you buy their house by taking over the mortgage payment. I think you're in a great spot.
That's insane numbers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's how I've built my entire real estate portfolio. I've all my 9 rentals that I have came from the exact same strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think because you're really able to buy deals without having to go to a bank, without having to come in with large amounts of money, 20% down. You're not dealing with hard money loans or crazy interest rates. Yeah. You're just taking over the mortgage payments. So how are you finding leads? Is that literally it? You're literally just using PropStream and calling?
That's literally all I do.
Okay.
I know it sounds like, okay, that doesn't sound like that's all you do. But seriously, that's literally all I do.
Well, see, that's actually refreshing because a lot of the people that come in, they have these extravagant traps that are built. Like, I do this and it converts to this and that automates this thing and triggers that and the other thing. And I think that a lot of people miss just picking up the phone and making some phone calls.
Right.
To, when you have a solution to their problem.
Right.
So let's talk about, do you have any other tools that you use in addition to PropStream, CRMs, anything like that, or is it pretty basic?
This is the thing is I just feel so bad that it's seriously, I don't have my CRM right now is Trello.
That's
my team uses Google Spreadsheet because some of my team members prefer to use Spreadsheet just because it's easier.
Okay.
But it's stupid simple how you literally have Trello as your CRM because the thing is it's such a small list. It's such a small list, but it's a very powerful list because what are you gonna do with let's just if you're a homeowner and you owe $310, and by the way, when I say you owe $310 on the mortgage, every single mortgage balance is a public record, by the way. So I think some people might not know that. So I just want to address that out there.
Point.
Yeah, mortgage is a public record, and you can find the mortgage documents too. Everything's recorded. But it's stupid simple how it works. So when I first discovered that list, I literally had a notepad. I had the address, listed price, and the mortgage balance. I had 3 columns on my notepad. Address, I would say 123 Main Street. They have the house listed for, let's just say, $450,000. They owe $425. I'll be like, that's a no equity deal. And I'll just minus mortgage list price minus mortgage balance. And if it's around 30 to 40 grand, somewhere around there, I'm calling that person. And I'm gonna follow up until that person either sells the house or that person gets the house foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Because when you owe $425 and you have the house listed for $450, there's only 3 ways for you to get rid of the house. foreclosure, short sale, or I mean, there's you can without coming out of pocket. So you can either sell it and come out of pocket, but without having to do that. Foreclosure, short sale, and sub 2. And you don't want the first two options. You don't want your house to go to foreclosure or short sale just because you owe too much. Like foreclosure will not hurt your credit. You won't be able to buy a house for the next 7 years, and you lose. It's like a little scar on you. But then when you do a sub 2, it's like I can help you build your credit. I can help you make money, and I can take over mortgage payments at 3 to 4%, and not have to worry about bank appraisals, inspection, nothing like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love this strategy too, because for us that are realtors, you can use it to get listings and you can use it to buy deals.
Yeah.
So it's like a really powerful strategy. So let me take a half step back. So now you've identified who to call. You're going through PropStream. Are you skip tracing these people, or are you just calling the agents mostly, or who are you calling?
So mostly right now, my team goes after the listing agent.
The listing agent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number one is we have a higher connection rate with the listing agent than we would with the homeowner, because that's their job. Their job.
Agents actually pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, some of them.
Where homeowners probably wouldn't. Or would be much harder to get a hold of.
Right.
Okay.
So. And then they're held to higher standards. So if they don't pick up the phone for like 2-3 weeks, that's kind of a problem. But so I call the listing agent first, because number one, I want them to get paid, right? But also number two is I want them to help, and I want them to go to bat for me. Mm-hmm. I want them to go to the homeowner and say, hey, I have this investor. He's credible.
I have a buyer that's legit.
Yeah, I have a buyer that's legit, and you can look him up on Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're contacting the listing agent first. How does the conversation going? And for those that want to go deeper on this, like Kevin does do awesome videos, literally live prospecting videos on his YouTube channel. So let them know where they can find that, and then we'll kind of jump into some tips.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Kevin Choe 12, Kevin Choe 12, KEVINCHOE 12, and then my Instagram is identical.
Perfect. So let's talk about what you're saying. Like, do you have a script? Are you asking certain questions?
Yeah, I have a script.
Okay.
So, and most of these conversations, they go kind of a very similar route, because most of like 95% of them are in a very similar situation. I mean, like I said earlier, they have no equity. They just bought the house. They bought it with VA loan or FHA loan or conventional loan. And they're selling the house within such a short period of time.
Right.
So
you're searching for a very specific seller.
Right.
No equity, needs to sell,
right.
Doesn't have the money to close.
Yeah.
To bring it full. Okay.
Yeah. So this I call up the listing agent, say, hey, my name is Kevin. I'm looking to buy a couple houses in the area, because you don't want to look like you're too big, but you don't want to look like you're too small. So I say, I'm looking to buy a couple houses in this area. Mm-hmm. I just want to see what your thoughts are on this neighborhood.
Okay.
That's my opening line, just about on every single phone call. And they say, oh, it's a great neighborhood. The neighbors are super cool. You got, Smith and grocery store down the street, family friendly school district, and they'll go on and on and on. But that's not the important part. And I try to build rapport. Oh yeah, I just bought a house in Miami Street or 37th Avenue, whatever. I say, oh yeah, so like you want to start establishing the fact that you are actively in the business. So like I was kind of lead them to a point where the moment I feel like I build enough rapport, I say, I'm looking at Zillow. Looks like the homeowner like just bought the house. Is there anything wrong with the house that they're moving out in such a short period of time? And what that triggers is it triggers a little like a defensive mechanism in their brain where no, there's nothing wrong with the house. The homeowner is moving out because of X, Y, and Z. And
so now you find the motivation.
You find the motivation. And every single motivation is same every single time. Oh yeah, the homeowner, they just bought this house, but they don't like it. Oh, they have health issues. Oh, they have family problems. They bought it with their husband, and now they're going through a divorce. They bought blah blah blah, and it's like you'd be surprised if like all the phone calls that I made, I can tell you there's probably 10 to 15 scenarios, and 95% of them fit in that 10 to 15 scenarios.
Okay.
And that's awesome. So are they? Okay, there's nothing wrong with the house. So are you guys looking for like a specific number? Like I know you guys have listed for 350. Like, do you think I have any chance at 330? And this is me knowing that the mortgage is 325 and they have listed for 350.
Right. Because all that info is on PropStream.
Yeah, all that info is on PropStream. The listed price, mortgage list price, and the mortgage balance. So if they owe 325, I'm just gonna throw out a like fictitious number. You think I have any shot at 330? 100% of the time. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh really? And then they usually say, yeah, it's because they didn't put a lot of money down and they're just selling it in such a short period of time. They need to get a specific number. I'm like, okay, perfect. And sometimes they'll give you that number, sometimes they don't, and I don't necessarily want to probe too much. And okay, perfect. And then my pitch on sub 2 is almost identically the same, just like how I'm leading up to this point. I say, listing agent. This is what I'm thinking. Just tell me, and I'm just throwing it out there. This is not an offer, but how about this? How about I give you your full commission, so like your 2.5% to 3% commission. Maybe I can put like $5,000 to $10,000 in your seller's pocket, and you think I can just come in and take over those mortgage payments? And
just like that.
Okay. So because here's the thing is when the situation is so similar, like I said, 10 to 15 scenarios fit 95% of the time. So I know exactly. I'm taking them to a route that I've been to like multiple times, and most of the like half the times they're like they hesitate. I don't know. Let me bring it up to them, and they ask their own questions. And then the other half times is like, oh, they're not interested. Yeah, that's the initial phone call.
Right.
So right off the bat, 50% of them won't even be interested, and of the 50% that hesitated, 35 to 40% of them will come back and say, yeah, they're not looking for that right now. Yeah, it's too much liability. And then the other 10% is where say, yeah, I think my clients are interested as long as there's protection where you're gonna make the mortgage payment. If you don't, we can take the house back. Yeah, we can. Yeah, like my client's open to it. I'm like, and those are the clients we go after, and that's really my script.
That's crazy.
It's and like I'll post more videos on my cold calling videos on my YouTube, but every single one of them is so identical. Like every single one of them. Same.
It sounds like it's just a numbers game. You're finding the people that you know have the right distress,
right? And
you know they don't have really any other options, and you know you have the solution. So now you just have to contact enough people to get the yeses.
100%. But this is what I love about this list, is if they owe like I said 325 and they have it listed for 350,000, they're not going anywhere. They could, especially if they moved out already, like that mortgage balance will still be 325, 324, 323. It's not like they can take a cash offer and just dip.
Right.
So like I'm literally right there. Hey, just want to check in with you. So I have a couple of clients that actually don't want to do a sub 2, but they do it because that's the only option that they have other than having the bank take it.
Yep.
They don't want to do it, but that's the only option.
Yeah. No, I see that. It's they're just caught in a pinch.
Right.
They're caught in a pinch. So how many calls would you say someone should expect to make before realistically trying to get their first deal?
I'll say 35 to 40.
Which is insane, because you're not going to get any other real estate deal only making 35 to 40 phone calls.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 35 to 40 conversations.
Yeah, fair.
35 to 40 conversations. And here's the thing. The reason why this has such a high closing ratio is, like I said earlier, is they can't take a low cash offer. Either they sell it traditionally through their agent and hope and pray that whatever the offer that they bring to the table is enough to cover all their bases, or you go with me and I'm a guaranteed offer.
And I'm going to put some money in your pocket.
And matter of fact, I will beat any other offer by $5,000 to $10,000. And you just you know you have a good product, you know you have a good offer like that, and you just stay on top of them, and you will win. There's no way. It's not like you're going after a home that's free and clear and the homeowner has no mortgage payment. They could sit on it and you just wait until however long. But these homeowners, like most of the time these homeowners they have two more they have two they either they're making the mortgage payment on this one that they're selling, or they're renting, or they have a second house. So they have two mortgage payments that they're covering, and two mortgage payment is they can't, not many homeowners can take that for too long.
Yeah. And if they rented it, it would be probably upside down, or why do they don't want to rent it? They just want to. What are you finding with those?
Well, most of the homeowners, they don't want to rent it because it's like, okay, now I got a job and now I got to rent the property out. Like
So most of the situations you're saying, they just want to get rid of it.
They just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, and even if they were to rent it, like they're not going to make that $100, $200 is not really worth it for them. So, that's what, at least that's what I've been seeing.
Okay. And then, so as far as the, I'll just to piggyback one more thing onto that. I really like what you said about giving the agent their commission at the beginning, because I think that as soon as you say that, it's going to lower their defenses like 10,000%.
Oh yeah, there's a reason why I put it in that order.
Yeah.
How about I cover your commission? That's the first thing I say.
Yeah.
And I give your clients maybe $5 to $10,000 in their pocket. And I take over the mortgage.
And then I'll take over the mortgage payment. Yeah.
I've actually tried it. I said, how about can I come in and take over the mortgage payment? And as soon as I say it, they say no, we're not interested.
Right.
But then once you flip the order around and you cover their bases first, they actually give you an opportunity to speak.
Yeah. Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, anything else for that initial first phone call? Any information that you want to get, or specific things you want to know? I'm guessing you want to know like what the mortgage payment is. Right. I'm guessing you want to know, if there's any liens or anything on the house, which I guess would all be public record. But what are things that you want to get up front on that initial phone call?
Well, I don't have to necessarily get that on the initial phone call.
Okay.
I can get it at any point in time.
Right.
But if you're an agent and you want to try this route, there's a couple of things you need to know. The most important thing is the mortgage statement. Because it's going to cover what the interest rate that the mortgage has, how many years it's left, and what the exactly monthly payment is. So the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and PMI. So the most important thing is you want to get the most recent mortgage statement. And the second most important thing is you want to know how much the seller wants to make, and the age and other fees associated. Like are you paying another agent to bring you the deal? So how much money you have to bring to the table. Those two are the most important things.
And then So, okay. And then in terms of like objections, what are the main objections that you're hearing? And do you have any objection handler gymnastics that you do?
Well, so the biggest objection is what happens if you stop making the mortgage payment?
Right.
And the answer to that is, hey, what if, number one, we're not gonna purposely just miss the mortgage payment because I'm giving you money, I'm giving your agent money, I'm paying the closing cost. I have skin in the game for me to if I put like my average cost of getting two deals $30,000 to $35,000.
Okay, I was gonna ask that. Yeah. Okay.
If my average cost of getting to this deal is $30,000 to $35,000 and I miss $1,800 one-time mortgage payment, and you take the house back, like, don't you actually want me to miss the house payment?
Yeah, and then you're out $35,000.
Yeah, and you get to sell that house again, or you get to keep it, and all the stuff that I put into the house, you get to keep.
Love that.
So you just flip the switch on them. Hey, I'm gonna, if I miss a mortgage payment, just take the house back, and we'll set up the paperwork, and we don't have to go into the paperwork details because this is not that important. I mean, I don't want to confuse people. We'll set up the paperwork so that if we miss a mortgage payment for more than 30 days, you can take the house back automatically, and you do not have to go through the foreclosure process.
Yeah. And
for them, it's like, that's okay. So you're just gonna give me the house for free if I miss a mortgage payment?
Automatically.
Yeah. And they're like, okay. So I actually have a house. So this is a funny story. This just happened probably 2 weeks ago. My very first house that I ever bought in my life. It was in Midland, Texas. A homeowner was in foreclosure, and I take over her mortgage payment for like $105,000. This was almost a little more than a year ago. I took over a mortgage payment for $105,000, and the house was worth $180,000. I fixed it up. The house is worth now $210,000. Mortgage payment is $1,050, and I have the house rented out for $1,800. And then like we've been just cash flowing every single month. We just make cash flow, and then and then out of nowhere, Maritza, her name's Maritza. I didn't say the address, so Maritza texts me saying, "Hey, how's the house going along?" I'm like, "Yeah, we caught up your 23 grand in back payment, and we just renovated the house, and we have it rented out for like good amounts." And she goes, "How much?" I'm like, "I think around 1,800." And she goes, "Hey, is there any way for me to like get the house back from you?" And I said, I mean, the only way I know of is do you want to buy it back from me? She goes, no, I don't want to buy it back from you. I'm just saying if I have my mortgage is on the line that you've been paying, but I was wondering if there's any way for me to get the house back. I said, well, there's two ways for you to get the house back. Number one, you buy from me, or you just hope and pray that I stop making the mortgage payment. And she goes, okay, so if you miss the mortgage payment, then I get the house back. I said, yes. But then like, am I gonna miss that $1,000 one-time monthly mortgage payment just for her to take the house back when I put in all this sweat equity?
Right.
So that just happened 2 weeks ago, and that's the biggest objection. What happens if you don't pay?
What happens if you don't pay? It makes sense, yeah. And we did do a deep dive with Michael Manatsakanian, so shout out to him. We covered how they can buy again, because I know that's another big one. I want to be able to buy again and all those other objections in that episode, so check that out. But to keep it moving, so how are you deciding on your price and your terms? Or is it literally just, I'm taking over the mortgage payment at whatever it's at, I'm paying the agent their commission, and I'm giving the seller some cash to go?
For me, I don't do so much calculation. I literally just ask, hey, seller, how much do you want? Like, how much do you want to walk away with? And all sellers have that number in their mind, because when the agents do their when they at the seller appointment, they're gonna ask, okay, how much do you owe? How much do you want to sell it for? Blah blah blah. And and the agent will give you the seller net sheet, and it's gonna say, if you get $450 for your house, you will net $7 grand, whatever. And that's the bottom number you have to get to. How much do you ultimately want in your pocket
To walk away.
Yeah. And that's all I really ask for.
It's amazing.
So mortgage balance,
okay.
Mortgage statement, and you just got to know how much the seller wants, and at that point you're good to underwrite the deal.
That's amazing. Really is amazing. And then what happens once? So they're interested. They're like, "Yep, Kevin, I like it. I want to do it." What happens next?
Then that's when.
How are you like locking it up? Is it like an option contract, or are you going straight? Like, what's the next domino once they agree?
So this is when the paperwork that we use is, obviously you want to get the purchase and sale agreement, and I've used I've never done a deal in California, so I don't know about the state contract, but in Arizona we use Arizona state contract. I've used Nevada state contract before. I used TREG, which is Texas real estate contract. I use FARBAR, which is also Florida real estate contract. So what I will do is I'll use the state contract wherever they're in, and I'll fill it out. Just everybody knows how to do it. All their agents know how to do it. And the only thing that we need to have is a couple of pages of addendums, making sure, hey, you acknowledge that the mortgage will stay in your name until the duration of the loan, and the seller checks that off. You acknowledge that this mortgage will you won't be able to deduct your interest from your taxes on this mortgage, and seller checks that off. So it's basically just acknowledgement saying, hey, the mortgage is not going to be paid off. It's going to stay in your name for the next 29, 38, 28 years, however long, and seller checks that off, and that's it. And you
It's amazing.
It's a lot. Honestly, personally, this is what I'm thinking. I do sub 2 deals like this, and I also buy houses traditionally using just my credit and stuff. And this is a lot easier because I don't have to go through appraisal. I don't have to go through the bank. I don't have to go through the inspection period, whatever. And this is so much easier than any other transactions I've done.
What else is needed to close?
Some HOA documents, if there's HOA. You want to get power of attorney so that you can make decisions on behalf of that.
In regards to that loan.
In regards to that loan, yeah. It's limited power of attorney, so you only have power of attorney over that property. So you can go sell it, you can go refinance it, you can go pull permits, whatever. So HOA docs, if there's any, power of attorney, and that's about it.
So it's pretty minimal.
It's very minimal. Like, you'd be surprised. Like this, like my average, the day that I get things under contract to the day that I close is 22 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And who's on your team? Like, how many people do you need on your team? Like, who's doing the paperwork and this and that and the other thing? I'm guessing through the sub 2 community there's resources.
Yeah.
But what would you recommend for someone when they're getting started? Who should they have on their team?
So my team looks a little different than when I started, and this should not be your beginner's team. But I have a full-time transaction coordinator. I pay them a flat salary, and I say, I'm gonna give you all the transactions, and you do every single one of them.
Okay.
So like it's like an unlimited transaction for like a certain subscription, for like a subscription model.
Okay.
And then I have two people that make calls for me.
Okay.
Just 2 people, because it's a small list. You don't need
Yeah.
you don't need a big team. Matter of fact, if you have a big team, then it's just more confusing, because like everyone's getting like such a small list. So I have 2 people calling, and then I have a full-time partner, and we figure out, okay, what are we gonna do with the house? Are we gonna like find them a buyer for it?
Mm-hmm.
And we find buyers for other sub 2 students, other investors. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to also ask, is in terms of like the exit strategy, like are you then wholesaling them out? Are you then putting together the end buyer? I know there's like exotic like mortgage wraps and like
Yeah.
different stuff like that. What's kind of your main exit strategy or different ones that you explore?
So I 62 sub 2 deals so far this year, and I've assigned most of them, so I don't actually buy them.
Okay.
So what I do is, and for the agents that are watching, you might be thinking, okay, you're gonna take over the mortgage payment, and you're not even gonna be the one making the mortgage payment. What I do is I introduce the buyer and the seller. I say, hey seller, I know I told you I was gonna take over this mortgage payment, but I have other projects going on that at this moment I'm a little too busy, but I'm gonna connect you with somebody else that will come in and fulfill that obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And I make the connection. The seller and the buyer have conversation, and they talk. And if the seller is like, you know what, Kevin, I only want to work with you. I don't feel comfortable working with John Smith. I'm like, it's totally fine. I can't buy it at this moment, and I will just cancel the deal. So it's a little different, because you have to make sure the seller of the house, who's leaving the mortgage in their name, knows who the buyer is.
Right.
And I keep that process very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever tell the seller, I'm gonna buy. I'm the one buying it, and then you close later on. It's like, hey, what happened to that mortgage payment? I'm like, I didn't buy it. Somebody else did.
Right.
It's like that's not good. Yeah, that's not ethical practice. So that's the most important thing, is when you're because of the 62, I've kept 7 houses.
Okay, so you're wholesaling most of them out or assigning them.
Yeah, 1 out of 10 I keep.
And then how does that? Let's talk about how that works. Are you getting paid in addition to the seller getting their money, the agent getting their commission, and you're just upcharging it to the end buyer?
Right. So one of my deals that I just closed on, actually Pace bought this deal. So I said this is what the numbers look like on brief terms. Seller got $11,000. The listing agent got $13,000. So all in, if I wanted to buy the deal, I could
$24,000.
$24,000 and a couple grand in closing cost. I could have bought that deal. But I'm like, I'm so busy right now. I'm traveling. I mean, I'm in San Diego today. Was in OC yesterday. I'll be in Salt Lake later this week. So what I did was, hey Pace, do you want to buy this deal? And Pace said, yes, I want to buy it. How much do you want? And I said, just give me like 10 grand. If I were to buy it, it's 24 grand. But if Pace were to buy it, it's 34 grand. So
Mm-hmm.
I just make my fee in the middle.
Yep. Which is awesome for people just getting started that want to just make the quick cash, and just keep it moving. Go on to the next one.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: is if I could make money, I can make more money if I were to buy it and do whatever I want with it. But for me, it's like when you have like good amount of deal flow that's coming in, you just can't be stuck with one house and like all your deal flow gets stuck.
Yeah.
You know, you want to keep that conveyor belt going smoothly.
Yeah, and then cherry pick all the best ones for yourself.
Oh my God! If I told you the deals that like one of my best deals, that I cherry picked out of all the deals that I could have kept, I bought this duplex in downtown Phoenix. Beautiful house, $650,000 house. It was built like 4 months ago, and I bought it from the homeowner for 10 grand. I literally put like 1.2% down. And I took over their 4.5% interest rate. That house, front unit is rented for $4,500. The back unit is rented for $4,500. But PITI is like $4,300.
That's unbelievable.
So I put 10 grand in, and I make almost 40.
$4,000 a month plus.
Yeah, 4,500 a month.
Yeah,
So like I make my money back in 2 months.
that's incredible.
That's one of the best deals that I picked.
Yeah, that's
So I cherry pick the best ones.
And then in terms of like getting into these deals for people, you said it's about 35K is the average that you're putting in, which covers any agent commissions, any money to the seller,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And you could also get that money if you didn't have that money, right? Do you want to talk about that a little bit about for the people that don't have the 35 grand
yeah.
but want to take the deal down?
Yeah, or if you have the 35 grand, but like I don't want to use my own money.
Mm-hmm.
So like on my personal house, I bought my personal house 2 months ago from a homeowner that had an Airbnb. And what happened in Phoenix when during the Airbnb was all the Airbnbs were just performing terribly. There's too many. Not many of them are. And now there's like regulation that's coming in, and then it's like so hot in the summer, and nobody wants to come to Phoenix. So what I did was I went up to the homeowner, and I said, "Hey, let me take over your mortgage payment." I did all the spiel, and then we agreed to it. And I'm like, I want to buy this house, and I want to move into it. I'm like, okay, if I were to buy this, I need to put $60,000 of money to secure this deal, which at that time I had 60 grand. I'm like, should I put 60 grand of my own money into this deal, or should I put that money aside and make money with that 60 grand, or should I just borrow the 60 grand? So
Okay.
I still brought $60,000 to the table to buy the house, but that 60 grand doesn't have to be yours. So what I did was I brought on my close friend of mine, Jaime. He says, hey, I have a HELOC. I'm sitting on a HELOC right now, and I don't know what to do with it. Like, okay, how much do you have? I have 80 grand on my HELOC, and I have really good interest rate because I got a HELOC from my credit union. So he goes, okay, how much do you pay? He goes, I get 8% every single year. And I'm like, okay, how about this? How about you give me? I'll give you 12% on that 8% that you pay. So he makes a 4% difference. So he's making money on that 4%, and then I got myself my own house, 60 grand without using my own money.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you got the 60 grand from someone that had a HELOC at 8%. You just said, hey, give me that 80 grand or whatever, 60 grand of it, and I'll pay you 12%.
Yeah.
You get the money you need. They get to make that little bit of a spread every month,
Right.
so it's easy for them.
Right.
That's amazing.
And I don't have to use my own money.
Yeah.
And you could rinse and repeat. So you take over other people's mortgage that you don't qualify for, and you borrow the down payment to get into it. Yes, it's highly leveraged, but like if you have houses like if you have houses like me that's cash flowing, $4,500 a month, like that it makes sense for you to go raise money for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
it's exciting, man. I'm really impressed by what you're doing, how you put it all together. Is there anything on like the paperwork side, legal side that you can share on kind of how you protect yourself or surround with advisors, anything like that?
Yeah. So my transaction coordinator, she does every single one of my paperwork. So I actually don't even have any of the paperwork.
So she's well versed in these types of transactions.
She's very well versed. Yeah.
Okay.
She knows how all these transactions work. She probably knows it better than I do, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll reach out to her to see what kind of paperwork we can have access to.
Cool.
And so, because you want to protect yourself. You don't want to just do a deal and it fall through.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what sort of like balloons are you putting on the back of these? Are there no balloons in most of them?
Most of them, I don't have any balloons.
No.
Most of them, I just say, hey, I'm going to pay this mortgage for the next 29 years. Literally what I say.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I got to say, man, this has been really insightful. One of the questions I like to wrap with is, in 60 seconds or less, what does it take to be a good subject to investor?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever got that question before. In 60 seconds, what it takes to be a great subject
to investor.
Okay. In order for you to become a great subject to deal finder, create master, whatever, You need number one, you need to figure out what is a deal. You need to figure out what clues does this deal have that it hints at me that it's a subject to deal. So one of the best, like I said earlier, one of the best ways to get subject to deals is through going after homes that are recently bought or recently refinanced, that where the homeowner owes very high, owes just about how much the house can qualify for, or how they owe just about the same amount of money as how much the house cost. So if they owe 300 and the house is worth 320, there you will get the best kind of subject to deals. So number one, you need to identify as an agent. You walk into a listing appointment. I think the first few questions you have to ask is, did you recently buy this house? Did you recently refinance, or did you put any loans against this house? Because you want to make sure how much they owe. Because if they don't have that much room, then most likely this will be a subject to transaction. So number one thing is you have to identify the cues that hints at the deal that, hey, this could be a subject to deal.
Love that.
Yeah,
and then dig in, right? And then just follow the steps we just outlined and
100%
take it from there.
Yeah.
What I love about all of this is that it's very simple, right? It's not easy. You got to do the work. You got to make the calls. You got to, do your due diligence and all that. But it's a simple business, and it's a simple way for people to get into real estate investing.
Right. Especially with this kind of list. I mean, I honestly think if you make 35 calls, 35 to 40 calls, and that maybe take you a couple of days, I seriously think you can make your first deal very quickly.
That's awesome.
Truly. I mean, yes, there's more people working on the list, but I literally just posted a YouTube video today, and because everybody said, "Oh, this list is saturated," whatever. I pull up the prop stream. I call the I call the second house on the list because the first one didn't pick up the phone, and I pitched the same thing, and they're verbatim, "Oh, I think my client's interested." I'm not even kidding. What day is today? 9/17.
Yeah.
Today's 09/17. If you go on my YouTube channel, there's literally a video call there's literally a seller call that I made, agent call that I made, and I literally said in the beginning of the phone call, I said, people are complaining that this list is saturated, and then at the end of the phone call, I'm like, the agent is super excited to work with me, and I'm like, this list is not saturated. I made one phone call, and then today's 9/17. September 19th, I'll have another YouTube video that's coming up. That was the second call that I made, an exact same situation. They're like, they're probably interested, but they want to ask a couple more questions. Like, I'm like, how is this list? You guys call it a saturated list when I call, and there's like, they haven't been pitched. And these
most people make 3 calls, hear 3 no's, and they're like, it's saturated, I'm over it.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man. Any other resources? I know you're putting out a no equity list. Definitely connect with him, Kevin Choe 12 on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
But what else you got for the people out there? The tools you were talking to me about before.
Oh, yeah. So a couple of things I'm working on, and this has been a big project of mine, is I'm working on a nationwide no equity list, and I'll be giving it out for free because what I've realized is, I pull my list from PropStream. However, that's not free, and I know what it's like to get started. You don't want to put too much money into anything, so I'll be giving out the list for free. It's a nationwide. You don't even need to have PropStream, and then I'll be giving out, and then you can go to my YouTube channel and take notes on how to make these phone calls, right? So you get the list from free list. You go to my YouTube, which is also free. You make the calls. I mean, you take notes on my calls, and then another thing I'm working on is I have a website that it's called takeovermortgages.com, and what I have on that website is just a list of all the transactions that I've closed on this year. There's 62 of them, and it's good. And you use it when the listing agent says, "Well, how much experience do you have?" And your answer should be 63 deals this year.
Yeah.
So there's literally no excuse for you to not get a deal.
Love that.
And I want everybody to win.
Yeah, same here. Go out there, make the phone calls. He basically laid out the entire blueprint about how you can go out, do your first deal, get more listings, own more properties in a creative way. And dude, I gotta say, really appreciate you coming out. Very insightful conversation. As always, if you guys like money and you like real estate, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.